sports coverage of the National Football League brings us to one of the great cities of the world, London, England. The kicker, Will Reichard, has the ball on the tee, and we are underway here in London. And makes it across the 20 as his guys will set up shop at the 23-yard line. They'll run it. Here's the rookie from Ohio State. And a short pickup to about the 27. It'll be second down.
I think if we put together a job description for a middle linebacker, we would start with being able to hold down things in the middle of the line of scrimmage and be able to take on blockers. But how about the guys who can go sideline to sideline and make plays?
Love a guy that can do that. We saw a perfect example of it right there. Setting up to throw, Flacco. And that nearly an interception here on this opening drive, but he gets a reprieve. It's third down.
Those are the ones you dream of as defenders. I think if he gets eyes on the ball a little bit earlier, he might come away with it. Instead, it's going to wind up as just an incomplete pass.
Now Flacco. That is caught. And he is going to have a Browns first down as they're able to get the third down conversion.
To win any route, you've got to break down the defender, and that's exactly what happened here on this really nicely executed curl route.
So here's a 1st and 10 at the 38. Flacco looks to throw. This one complete to Jerry Jeudy. And he'll be stopped right at midfield. Another nice gain, 13 yards that time, and another first down.
Well, that certainly has to feel good, and it's not all the time that the play caller should get all the credit. Sometimes I think in the huddle, the quarterback just says, hey, who's going to make a play for me? I just need something right here. And the end result there, nice first down. Drive keeps moving.
On first down, they'll go to the ground attack. And he can only manage to get a couple. 2nd and 8 coming up.
They suspected that it was a power play up the middle coming at them, and boy, were they right. That defense got downhill in a hurry and limited them to just a couple on first down.
2nd down and 8. And they'll run on the inside handoff. He'll get about 4 here, down to the 43-yard line.
Well, if you're a football guy, that's a pretty run because everyone is in sync right there. Obviously, the guy carrying the ball, but how about the people up front? Leverage, athleticism, they created some nice space for him.
Here's the 7th play of this drive. This is 3rd and 4. Here's Flacco. Over the middle, complete to Jeudy. And he'll be tackled about 2 yards shy of the line to gain. A 1-yard pickup leads to 4th down.
Well, we hear so often how tackling has become almost a lost art in the NFL game, but it's so important to tackle well on these receivers, especially in a play like this one. 3rd down, they gave him the underneath stuff. You got to go up and make the tackle right away.
And Bojorquez on to punt as he gets it away. This one will sail out of bounds. It'll depend on the spot here. And the side judge says that went out at the 7-yard line. Minnesota's offense takes over possession. McCarthy operating from the gun. That's complete to Justin Jefferson. And he's brought down, but not before they get it across the 20-yard line. First down yardage on the first play of the drive. Give him 14.
Well, they were backed up to start the drive, but how about that aggressiveness? Firing it downfield right away. Nice job there getting out towards what would have been their normal starting position.
Now a first down carry by Jones. And he is going to be stopped cold behind the line of scrimmage. Devin Bush sprinting behind the line to track down the ball carrier.
That was well played there defensively. 2 tight ends in the formation, which essentially gave them 7 blockers up front. Hard to imagine with all that size and beef that they could let a tackler through, but that's exactly what happened. A loss resulted.
He'll get this complete to Rondale Moore. And he'll be marked down at the 26 with a gain of 7. And for the Browns, a nickel set here on third down. Throwing is McCarthy. Able to find the open man. That's complete. And he'll be out of bounds, but able to get it up past the 45. Great way to convert on third down there. 21 yards the play.
Normally on third down and short yardage, you're thinking to throw to your tight end. It's just going to be a simple chain mover. But this time they let him roam down the field, and a nice dart picks up the first down and then some.
Here's McCarthy. And he's got the hook up to Moore. And he is tackled inside the 40, not quite to the 35. That's good for a first down, his second catch of the opening drive. Really a solid start here on the opening drive, Charles. He's now 4 of 4, and they're already in plus territory.
Brandon, he's been so precise to start this game, like we're watching an operation taking place right now. Master surgeon at work.
Looking to throw McCarthy. Being chased out left, and he can't get rid of it. He's taken down. Joe Tryon-Shoyinka showcasing the pass rush. They've been moving the ball well offensively, really getting into a groove. Last play, pass completion. Now, finally, the defense gets there.
And you have to find a way to disrupt their rhythm. Do you do it with coverage, or do you do it with pressure? They elected to go with pressure, and it was the right call.
Now McCarthy. And his throw here's incomplete.
Well, partner, guaranteed they approach this play with the idea of making up ground to make third down manageable. Unfortunately, with that incompletion, right back where they started on the last snap. Now they need a big third down play in order to pick up the yardage needed.
A long way to go here on third down for the 8th play of the drive. McCarthy, he'll set to throw it. And he's taken down. This will be a Brown sack. Joe Tryon. Now 2 sacks for him already here in this first quarter of play. They'll make that a second sack here on their first drive out defensively. And not to get ahead of ourselves, but they're on pace for double-digit sacks at this point.
Well, they're going to have to find a way to tamp that down, aren't they? So if you're the play caller, you're telling your quarterback, maybe some screens, maybe some draws, hard count, use your voice inflection a little bit, anything to try and slow that pressure down.
Second drive coming up here for Cleveland as they return to the field on offense. Over on the sideline, hoping to hit that reset button between possessions. Last time out, they had to punt it away. This time hoping to finish this thing off in the end zone. They'll start this drive out on the ground. And he is met in his tracks behind the line of scrimmage. Officially, it's a 1-yard loss. That's going to bring up second and 11.
I thought he did a nice job there setting an edge and making sure nothing could get to the outside. But he decided that wasn't enough for him. Worked his way back inside and made the tackle on the ball carrier.
After the loss to start out, here's second and 11. And they'll give him another shot here on the ground. And down right around the 32-yard line, 4 yards on the pickup.
On a second and long, it's really nice to see an offense that has enough confidence to run the football in that situation. I think that goes back to their practice and game planning. They've seen things that they've seen on tape and in previous games that led them to believe that even in a long-distance situation, they can still run the football and gain enough yardage to put themselves in a good spot on third down.
And he takes a shot on the release as this will be incomplete.
2 drives won't tell the story of this game, but you absolutely have to like how this defense has played thus far. They have yet to allow this offense to get untracked in this one.
On 4th down, on is Corey Bojorquez to punt. It's a 47-yard punt, return of 6. And the Vikings will take over here, 1st and 10. The Vikings taking the field here for their second drive of the game. Defense got the better of them last series, forcing a punt. See if they make a few changes in the game plan here and try to get points out of this drive. 1st and 10. They'll start out on the ground with Jones. Knifes his way forward here, but just 3 yards on the play. Second down.
Well, that's just a pile of bodies there, and that's when you kind of find out who's a tough guy, right? Who can stand up and make a play. It was only a 3-yard run, But for both sides, they had to walk away from that feeling like, okay, I can stand up when the going gets tough in here.
To the air with McCarthy. Out of the backfield, this is Aaron Jones. And they get him down, but not before he takes it across the 40-yard line. 13 yards as the Vikings pick up the first down.
We often talk about understanding the playbook, understanding progressions, and understanding what the defense is doing. We saw all of that on that play. Great recognition and understood where his running back was going to be. Found a way to have him leak out underneath, hit him with the football, and they picked up the first down.
And incomplete on the deep ball.
But there is a certainty in this game. We know that wherever he goes, he's going to draw a big-time crowd.
Throws into double coverage there, and look, that's something that he's going to have to deal with a lot in this game, I'm sure.
Yeah, they were lucky to get away with that one where it just fell incomplete, but they're going to count on him to uncover latent routes and make some difficult catches.
Now a draw play. This is Jones. And he takes this up right near the 45-yard line. 4 yards the gain, and it'll bring up a third down.
That second down play call was not to pick up the first down. It was to accomplish what they did to get them into a manageable third down because they had incompletion on first down, so they were behind the sticks, so to speak. They needed to make up some ground, and they did.
From the shotgun, McCarthy. That's down the field for Jefferson. This is caught inside the 15. And he takes this way down deep into Cleveland territory. They're able to convert on third down, and that sets up a first and goal.
There's the arm strength that we saw in college and during the scouting process. And really, it's not just the arm strength there, but the placement as well. To me, that was an excellent combination of arm talent and accuracy.
Looking to throw. McCarthy. Over the middle and into the hands of his receiver Moore. And from the 9, they get this to the 5-yard line. And the ball smack dab on the 5-yard line. Here's second and goal. Moore, the man in motion. He'll get it here on the jet sweep. And he will push his way forward down to about the 3-yard line. Calling a gain of a yard as they get a little bit closer here. It's third and goal.
Let's just make this one succinct. Nice job there. All 11 guys on defense diagnosing the jet sweep and putting it down.
Big play coming here. It's third and goal. Back to throw. McCarthy. And he will score. Touchdown, Vikings. Rondale Moore from 3 yards out. And the Vikings get the upper hand as they're on the board first here this afternoon. Well, on that connection, it looked like they maybe had some pre-play communication. Maybe one of them noticed an area that was open in the defense to get the pass to.
When you put the time in, sometimes you have that great silent communication that you just noticed right there because the best quarterback-receiver combos in the NFL, they know how to make those adjustments at the line of scrimmage when they see something pre-play, and they got it done there.
Set now to kick this one away, and off it goes. And he takes this near the 25. Just a little pass there. Call it the 26. Heading out as the Cleveland offense now as they get set to take over here. They've had it twice. They've punted twice. Not the start they were hoping for.
Not at all, and let's face it, every facility we visit, everyone talks about converting on third down, how big that is. In this situation, they've had to punt it away twice, so they're furiously going over things on the sidelines. What do we need to do to pick up a first down and change our momentum?
He'll get a nice chunk there on the first down run, and it's 2nd and 4.
They'd love to just strike back with a touchdown right here, and if it's a long play, so be it. But the main goal, get a couple of first downs, run some plays, run some clock, allow their defense to get a chance to catch their breath, settle down, and relax a little bit after they just gave up a score.
Now a fake on the jet sweep, and they'll instead run up the middle. And he'll push forward for a couple to the 34. After one, 7-0 on EA Sports. The start of the second quarter, and it's the Browns in control of the football. The Browns on third down, just 1 for 3 thus far. Here it's 3rd and 2. One back in the backfield, he'll get the carry. And he is going to have a Browns first down, at least it appears that way. And he got it by maybe the length of a football.
Yeah, they really needed to get something going, didn't they? They had punted on the last 2 possessions. The running game starting to come to the front for them, providing a nice pickup there to keep this drive going.
A break from the ground game here. Flacco, he's going to flip that out to the flat. It's complete. And that play is blown up, losing yardage back at the 35. That one unable to develop, never got going. A loss of a couple. And it's 2nd down.
Well, it looked like the defense, they were ready for that one.
Really left him almost no room to work after catching the ball. He could throw every move in the book at him. They were there, and they tackle him for a loss.
Flacco got an open man. That's David Njoku, the tight end. So they'll get 8 out of that completion. And now we've got a 3rd and 4.
Brandon, perfect defense in this situation would have meant that there was an incompletion. They would have picked it off. Okay, so they gave up the completion. But I really enjoyed watching how the defense stayed in sync, stayed in great communication. And as he dragged across each zone, you see him pointing, communicating. There he is, and they passed him off to each defender. Ended up making a nice play, even though it was complete.
And he'll be corralled out across midfield down to the 45. Umpire threw the flag, usually always indicates holding, and that's what we've got.
And you know, depending on their positioning, where you are on the field, the umpires get different responsibilities, but always, always making sure no one's holding.
And this 3rd down looking very tough after the holding penalty. 3rd and long. Now it's Flacco. Oh, hit as he throws there, incomplete.
I know this offense was expecting to do big things, but it certainly hasn't turned out that way, at least not through the first 3 drives. They're definitely going to have to put their heads together and start concocting some offense that'll move the ball downfield.
On 4th down, on is Corey Bojorquez to punt. He's been a busy man here in this first half as he gets it away. And that's a 48-yard punt with the coverage holding him to 3 on the return.
And it will be Vikings ball, 1st and 10.
And now out comes Minnesota. Things progressing to plan so far. Their defense has been solid, and they've got themselves a 7-0 lead after the touchdown the last time they had the ball.
And this is no time to even think about, hey, are we going to milk the clock? Hey, are we just going to do ball control? This is the NFL. 7-0 leads, they don't last very long unless you continue to push the envelope on offense.
And to about the 23.
The passing game's been working quite well so far, but the running game's been a little bit of a struggle, and that's a surprise to me. Typically, when you can throw it, you've opened up lanes for your runners.
Ball at the 23, 2nd and 8. Working out of the gun is McCarthy. Hockenson crossing the middle and bringing it in. And Hockenson going to have the Vikings first down as the tackle made up around the 33-yard line.
That was a route run not just with dexterity, but with intelligence. Found the hole in the zone, made sure the quarterback saw him, and was able to make the sure catch and flip the down marker back to 1.
An inside give to Jones. It's a 6-yard pickup, and it gets him to 2nd and 4.
Well, I think after that run, the defense is getting back in the huddle and looking at each other and maybe starting to question their confidence a bit. They gave up a significant run, 6 yards, and now you're saying to yourself, how do we stop them, and do I have enough confidence to make a play?
And here's Jones again on 2nd down.
Nowhere to go that time. He maybe got a yard up to the 40.
So it's the big left tackle who gets tagged with a hold.
And sometimes you're actually executing the block well, and he starts to slip off of you, and instinctively you reach out and grab him. And when it's done like that, it's often seen by the official and called.
They'll come up now on a 2nd and long after the hold. After the penalty, it's Jones.
And he'll take this to the 32, a gain of about 3.
I do know from experience that when you slow down someone's running game, you're now doing the dictating on defense. And guess what? Now you're getting ready to tee off on their quarterback because they have to throw it all the time. But you still have to be alert for the draws and other plays of that nature to make sure you don't get hurt.
Third down from the gun, McCarthy.
And that is incomplete.
1 first down here, and that's all, folks. Good work by this defense to hold things in check and force a punting situation.
So on 4th down, on is the punter, Ryan Wright.
So possession goes over here on the punt. And the Browns will take over 1st and 10.
Cleveland offense making their way out.
The results for them so far not that great. Well, not good at all. 3 drives, 3 punts.
Yeah, and now what you're doing is you're looking at your play sheet. You're trying to figure out what you're going against defensively. I wonder, are they showing them something they haven't seen or anticipated in practice, and maybe that's throwing them off? Or do they just have to go to a different play calling section and try and run some offense that way?
Fair to say, hasn't been his best game throwing the football, but also not getting a lot of help out there either.
Yeah, you nailed it pretty well, you know. He's got to throw it better, got to get more help. Obviously one that should have been caught. They've got to find a way to bring those 2 elements together so they can make some progress in this one.
And he comes back with 1 complete. And he'll go out of bounds, it looks like, right at the 40. They get 7 out of that, so they're left with a 3rd and 3.
And we see another pitch and catch there to the running back. This position just continues to evolve. They become just as critical to the passing attack as a lot of receivers, tight ends, because their ability to make people miss in the open field can really generate big plays for an offense.
This one downfield for Tillman.
That's caught inside the 20. And he is down deep into Minnesota territory. A big play that time for Cleveland. 46 yards.
And that might be exactly what they needed to wake up this home crowd. They haven't given them much to cheer for so far, and never underestimate the effect the home crowd with you can have on a game.
And again, it's Flacco to throw. And it's intercepted at the goal line. Picked off by Harrison Smith.
And the Vikings are going to have it here as they'll start at their own 7.
They'll start the drive with a carry by Jones. This will be stopped about 2 yards shy of the marker. 8-yard gain, 2nd and 2.
That's a really nice job by them picking up the run blitz and detecting it and blocking it and turning it into a nice run. And a lot of times you think if you blitz a running play, you're going to smother it. But a lot of the blitzers, they come in a little bit high. They don't have great leverage, and they're easily blocked and turned to the side.
McCarthy off the play fake.
Going underneath, he's got Hockenson. And able to get this across the 20 before going out of bounds. 3rd catch of this first half for him, and this one is a 1st down.
I got a kick out of that one, partner. You and I talk often about trying to hide receivers in certain situations, but a guy of his size, can't really hide him. But the tight end drag route, definitely an effective way to sneak him across the formation for an easy completion and a 1st down.
And the Browns pressure gets to him that time, and he's going to go down. In for the sack, Myles Garrett.
So, Charles, no turnovers yet for this offense, but those sacks now, they're starting to pile up.
And one thing usually leads to another because they've got to figure out how the offensive line and everyone else involved in protection can keep their quarterback upright and allow him a chance to throw the ball downfield.
They'll try the right side with Jones. And he'll take this one only up to about his 13-yard line. And they only get a yard back there. They'll be left with a 3rd down and long.
Just not a whole lot of room to operate there on that carry.
No, not at all. They did a really nice job staying in their proper places and not allowing any lanes to open up.
And this offense on 3rd down today, they've converted 3 out of 5 thus far. This will be a tough 3rd and 18.
This one swung out here to Jones.
And they'll bring him down at the 27-yard line. 14 yards is the pickup there, but it'll still lead to a fourth down.
I think that we all figured when he caught it that short of the marker that the defense almost relaxed and said, we got this covered. And then all of a sudden, space to run after the catch. And now they're screaming, somebody get him down. Fortunately, they got to him and forced the fourth down.
And on fourth down, on is the punt team sending this one away. That'll be a 43-yard punt, just a single yard on the return.
And they will take over 1st and 10.
And now Cleveland geared up to take the field.
In a close game like this, Charles, those interceptions like they had on the last drive could be costly. But here they've got another opportunity to seize control of this game.
And they'd better take advantage of it, because otherwise, if they end up losing by one score, they'll relive this over and over and over until they have another opportunity to wipe it away.
And he'll be tackled at about the 35. It's a 6-yard gain on the ground, and that'll make it 2nd and 4.
Now, Brandon, that's the way you want to run the football. There should almost be quote bubbles above the offense right now. Bam, boom, biff. That's how they feel good about moving the football.
Passing play, Flacco.
Oh, that'll be incomplete. Well, he took a shot as he let that go. And it's going to bring up a 3rd down.
It's always tough trying to keep your guy upright when he's trying to throw the football. When you're dealing with those big, bad guys on the defensive front, it's even tougher. And this time, those guys on the opposite side won the battle, getting to the quarterback and knocking him into an incompletion.
3rd down, Flacco from the gun. This short pass into the hands of Njoku. And he's brought down short. 2 yards there, needed 4.
Excellent job there defensively. Gave up the underneath to the tight end on 3rd down, and they made sure that they did their job. Got him on the ground and prevented him picking up a 1st down.
Here's Corey Bojorquez now. The good kick, 48 yards, 4 on the return.
And it will be 1st and 10 as they take over. Minnesota's offense takes over possession as we eke closer and closer to intermission. Charles, remember last time out they punted. They would love to get points here, especially if this is going to be their final possession of the first half.
Yeah, and this is what close games feel like, because the pressure is on both sides, but sometimes the pressure is a little bit higher on the team with the slight edge because they're trying to hold on to that, trying to increase it. Let's see how this one continues.
Tackle made there by Jordan Hicks.
Well, they always talk about playing great team defense, and that was an excellent example right there. Everyone on assignment, no one in the wrong spot, everyone filling their gaps.
2nd and 8 coming from the 19.
They'll go again to Jones. Fights forward for only about a yard up to the 21.
They just keep trying, but so far, finding no room for him to run.
None whatsoever. In fact, you run the numbers, he's under 3 yards a carry at the moment.
3rd down and 6.
Looking to throw. McCarthy.
Oh, he tries to force it in, and it's intercepted. Roddy Hickman with a pick.
And he's able to get it back to the 33-yard line. So they'll come up 1st and 10 now from the 33. Now Flacco. Under pressure, and down he goes. They sack him back at the 36.
Multiple players combined for their team's first sack of the game.
Setting up to throw, Flacco.
He'll get this complete to Tillman. And he's brought down here just outside of the 20.
A good pickup there for the Browns, 15 yards.
You can see the time and effort and thought that they've put into their passing game because it was evident right there. It looks like a simple pitch and catch, but you and I both know that they have planned for this and worked hard to make it happen.
Out to the flat. That's complete to his running back. And he is out of bounds. Looks like right at the 15. So the completion good for 6 yards. And that'll bring up second down.
Just about every quarterback is trained to really look downfield first before you come back and make a nice, safe throw. And in this case, that's exactly what he did. Found his running back, let him create some space, and it turned out to be a nice play for the offense.
And he's got it. And he is into the end zone. Touchdown, Cleveland. David Njoku. A 15-yard touchdown grab.
And the Browns are within an extra point of tying up this ball game.
A good tight end is a heck of a weapon for any quarterback, especially when you're able to create some mismatches. Sometimes they work against a linebacker, sometimes they work against a smaller defensive back. But when they find it, they go to it, and it often results in touchdowns.
So all even at 7 now as they kick it away.
And they will wrangle it down a couple yards shy of the 30.
And now out comes Minnesota. They had the interception last drive, led to the tying touchdown. So 7-7 the score as they begin 1st and 10. Trying to shake off the interception from the last drive. He'll look to throw. And they get him down, but not before he takes it across the 40-yard line. The Vikings going to signal for the first of their timeouts as they'll head to the sideline and talk over what to do next. Back to throw now on 1st down.
Throw left side, taken in by Jefferson.
And he'll be taken down across the 50 at the 45 in enemy territory.
Well, this is where reading defenses and practice time comes into play. You've got to know what you're running versus zone versus man and how to run the proper route. And they just executed that one pretty well.
Now on 1st down, he'll drop to throw it.
And he's got this to Jefferson.
Now the Vikings will use the second of their timeouts as they'll stop it with just over 40 seconds to go in the first half.
Throwing is McCarthy.
And he'll take this beyond the line of scrimmage as he slides to a hole. He'll wind up getting right about 4 there on the scramble, and it's 2nd down.
I certainly like what he did right there because he smartly wanted to avoid forcing anything downfield because nothing appeared to be open. Nice harmless slide there to avoid the big hit, and he gets a small gain on the play.
Pressure applied, and he's going to be taken down. They sack him back at the 33-yard line. So on 3rd down, the field goal unit will come out as they'll try to get 3 before half. From the left hash, it's an even 50-yard attempt. And this will split the uprights. It's right down the middle, and they take the lead here now at 10-7. So as it turns out, that sack doesn't wind up costing them, Charles. They at least get points, get 3 of them.
Yeah, that's where your kicker can really come to your rescue because after the sack, there was a little consternation there. Are we out of field goal range? Are we going to be able to get 3? In this case, he stepped right up and gave them exactly what they needed.
So time enough for a kickoff here. 5 seconds remaining in this first half. DeAndre Carter now from his end zone. And not much happening on the return as he'll get this to about the 23. And the Browns going to go on offense one final time in this first half. And they'll have time for one play. There's 2 seconds on the clock. The final second ticks by, and that's going to do it for the first half of play. So 2 quarters down, 2 remain. Charles and I return after the break. As they say here in London, all to play for as we are back underway in the second half. And up to about the 26-yard line, just across the 25. Now the Vikings offense set to go to work to begin this third quarter. And Charles, they've got the lead. Put your coaching hat on here now. What's the game plan for the second half?
I think getting the running game going a little bit more, because I thought in the first half they didn't get it moving the way that they would like. They had success throwing it, but I think these first couple of drives, they'll want to get those running backs going and give them more opportunities, and I will guarantee you that those guys were lobbying for them in the locker room at halftime.
He continues to deliver a first down here. He had 4 catches in the first half, and this one number 5.
As they began this drive, I was wondering how they were going to attack since they're playing with the lead. Would they continue to try and push the ball downfield? Well, after one play, it appears that the answer is yes.
Now contact up front as penalty markers come in. Who is this against? A bit of a jump there, CD. He breaks the line, and that'll be 5 yards.
And you've got to stay more disciplined than that, Brandon. That's just a free gift to the offense.
Now a chance to make that encroachment penalty really hurt. 1st and 5. Back to throw. McCarthy. Over the middle and complete to Addison. And he's brought down. Just his 2nd catch of the game so far. This one moves the chains.
But whenever you call and run the hitch route, a lot of times that ball's got to be in the air before the receiver even turns around. That's the result of throwing it so many times in practice, is really a timing route. Make sure that ball's out of your hands, and oftentimes the receiver turns around, and there's the ball. Nice completion there.
To the right side, and he's got more complete. Touchdown, Vikings! Rondale Moore, his 2nd touchdown of the afternoon. And the Vikings are able to add on to that lead.
In order to lead in a game, you're going to get plenty of contributors, but that's his 2nd touchdown catch of this game. He's one of the key guys in this one.
And you better believe he'll be looking for the hat trick here as this one continues to go. Point after, right down the middle. And his guys will take a 10-point lead. The kickoff team on the field now as they will send this one away. And they'll get him down inside the 30 at the 27. Here's the Browns now. They get set for their first possession of the third quarter. And their deficit a little wider than it was at halftime. Does that touchdown a minute ago change the thinking here at all?
I think it does, at least a little bit, because now urgency has to start setting in. You can't go out there and go 3 and out and run the risk of falling behind substantially, but you have to do it without pressing, because pressing, that'll lead you into bigger errors.
And he'll protect himself at the end here as he winds up getting pretty decent yardage. The improv on the scramble there gets him 6, and it'll be 2nd down.
You know what I like about that play? He didn't try to do too much on 1st down. He took what the defense gave him, put together a solid gain to bring up 2nd and manageable. Now they have a couple of plays to pick up just a few yards and a new set of downs.
Flacco looks to throw. Open man, that's Tillman. So give him 2 yards there on the completion, and that's going to bring up 3rd and 2.
I always laugh when people say, what's the toughest route to defend? And I'm like, any of them, especially if it's a good receiver. That makes things very difficult. But when you're running a drag route, something short, shallow, going through defenders, using guys almost as screens in order to get open, That makes things tough for guys trying to get to the football.
And he won't be close to a first down as he runs into a wall right around the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play there, and it'll bring up 4th down. Now, they struggled to get him rolling on the ground in the first half, and that's sort of continuing here in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, but I don't think it's time to abandon the running game. I would say keep feeding the horse, and I believe he'll eventually reward them, especially as we get deeper in the game.
A 41-yard punt there with no return.
Minnesota's offense takes over possession.
They'll start on the ground here on 1st down. Looking for a cutback lane, but nothing there as he's met at the line of scrimmage. Call it no gain on the play, and it'll be 2nd down.
He continues to struggle to find a crease to break off a big one and might need to just put that aside and just try and ram his way forward and get what he can.
Here's 2nd and 10. Now McCarthy. Open man, he's got him, the tight end Hockenson.
They really love to get him into one-on-one opportunities, and this is one way. Work him out of the slot and create a mismatch. Who's going to cover him? Corner, safety, linebacker? He's got a way to beat all of those positions.
They need 2. Here's 3rd down. Looking to throw McCarthy. Able to find the open man. That's complete. And he will have a Vikings first down as they're able to convert by plenty there on 3rd and 1.
And that one was a lot of fun right there because that was the game within the game. 3rd and short. Blitz was on. What's the key for the quarterback? Get out of your hands in a hurry. And that was a quick little completion. Got the job done for a first down.
Up the middle, Jones. And nothing much materializing there on the first down run. He'll get a couple, and that's it.
Early down stuff to put this offense in a precarious position. We know that securing the point of attack, especially against the big-bodied guys in the middle of this D, has got to be priority 1.
Here's a 2nd and 8.
Now they'll toss to Jones running left. And he'll be brought down, losing yardage back at the 40. Now they're staring at a 3rd and 8. That last play backwards a yard.
So statistically, both of these offenses having a rough time getting a running game going. But, boy, what a nice play there defensively.
Tackling him behind the line, but you're right. You look at the numbers. Neither side looks on track in the ground game.
To the air with McCarthy. Pass taken in by his big tight end.
And they're going to have another first down as he's going to be tackled at the Browns' 44-yard line. His first catch, and it's a pretty big one. They get the conversion on 3rd down.
And now we get into the psychology of the whole thing because a lot of teams with a 2-score lead in the 3rd quarter, they almost become defensive with their offense, just playing not to lose. I think with this team, you got to figure at this point, this is a great spot for them to go into attack mode, really try and put the hammer down and finish this one off. Nice progress down the field was halted by that incompletion. They could try for some safe yards here to get things moving again, or keep throwing it and pushing it downfield to try and pick up bigger yardage.
2nd and 10.
Moore, the man in motion. They go back to the ground with Jones. And this winds up a gain of 4 to the 41.
I think that run gives us evidence that the defense is getting a little bit tired out there. They've been out in the field for a long time, and that last run, they just cut right through them.
Down line at the 34 here on 3rd down.
Here's McCarthy. Work in the middle of the field, and he's got a man complete.
And they're going to have another first down as he's going to be tackled at the Browns' 23. A nice pickup of 17 yards. And with that last play, he's now up over that 300-yard mark.
And in today's NFL, it almost feels routine. And I hate that when you talk about a 300-yard passing game. To me, 300 yards still signifies excellence, and he's achieved that in this performance.
And he is brought down at the 22 after a gain of 2, and it brings up 2nd down.
That's a good play by the guys on the defensive side of the ball. Held them to a gain of 2. And that changes the playbook a little bit now for the guy calling plays. 2nd and 8. Now he's got to probably think about going to the air instead of maybe staying with the ground game.
McCarthy, he'll set to throw it. To Jefferson on the slant.
And he doesn't quite make it, taking it within an eyelash. Dropped it to 1. A good pickup there, 21 yards.
Well, they've certainly not shied away from throwing the footballs. They've leaned on their quarterback to start this game. 4 straight passes right out of the gate, with that last one earning them a new set of downs.
From the shotgun, McCarthy. There's Hawkinson in the end zone. Touchdown, Vikings.
A 1-yard touchdown pass. And his guy's now an extra point away from taking a 3-score lead.
Well, to put it mildly, he's been able to dice up this secondary all game long, and this time that was a missile that he threw into the end zone and adding another touchdown to his ledger.
And I think we see these youngsters develop a lot quicker than we ever have, because when they get started in this game, they're not just throwing passes around. They're reading coverages early, so now they're like seasoned pros earlier in their career. How about this one here? If they win this ball game, a game ball definitely coming from his head coach.
Out is the kickoff unit as they run up and send this one away.
And he'll take it up past the 25 to the 26-yard line.
And the Browns getting set to go.
I kind of feel like they've reached a do-or-die point in this game, Charles. If they're going to try to pull off an impressive comeback, it has to start right here, right now.
Yeah, now they've got a final chance to get out of this situation, but they also understand they've got to move the ball and move it fast. In addition, they need to save as much time so they can get 2 more possessions.
And that is not fooling anyone. He never had a chance to turn the corner there, and they'll go backwards right away. That's the danger, Charles, of running plays like this for your wide receiver. They can hit big or they can be duds.
Yeah, you're exactly right about that, because if they're forced to try and go around defenders behind the line of scrimmage, sometimes you can give yardage in order to gain it. But in this case, they gave yardage and didn't get it back.
This short pass into the hands of Njoku. And he's upended at the 33 following a good pickup of 8. Now, that tight end position, it just seems to continue to evolve every year in the NFL.
Yeah, you're getting really terrific athletes. A lot of them maybe were wide receivers at one point. They continue to give you speed, great hands, and big bodies, which make them excellent targets.
Under pressure, and Flacco's going to be dropped.
Sacked by Andrew Van Ginkel.
I think we've seen this before. Someone's down 3 scores. That situation there, it's just going to add to their growing frustrations, don't you think?
Yeah, a bad number 3 right now. 3-score game, 3rd quarter, 3 and out, not what they wanted. And you can tell on the sideline, those faces are getting a little bit longer as this one goes. .46 yards on the boot. The coverage holds him to just 3 on the return. And now out comes Minnesota. Line of scrimmage, the 31 now on 1st and 10. They'll start this drive out on the ground.
To about the 33-yard line.
Well, sometimes as a running back, you've got to be able to improvise when the hole's not where you expect it to be. But in this case, there wasn't any improvisation that he could do that was going to work. Kind of like if you're trying to be a comedian on open mic night at the Improv and you run into a tough crowd.
2nd down, another shot for Jones.
And he stopped immediately there. 2 runs in a row, but only 2 yards to show for it. They've called his number a lot this afternoon. You wonder how much tread is left on those tires.
We certainly do, but I always think back to one of my favorite coaches in the NFL. And he used to have a meeting with his running backs every year in the offseason and say, look, as many times as you're going to carry the ball, you should be able to carry it 1 more time, so make sure you get in shape.
And he's taken down. This will be a Brown sack. It's a loss of 10 on the sack, and it leads to 4th.
This is a little hard for me to compute because I'm watching sack after sack happen, but somehow they're still behind in the game. I would expect all of this defensive pressure to translate to them taking a lead, and thus far, it hasn't happened. Time's winding down. They don't want to waste this type of performance from these ace pass rushers.
Good coverage there holds him to just a 2-yard return following a punt of 44.
The Browns set to take over. See if they can put this drive in the end zone, Charles, because it's been a little bit of a rough go at times. They've had to punt the football a ton in this ball game because of stalled out drives.
So are you saying that you're kind of tired of seeing the punter run out there and do his thing during this game? Is that what you're trying to say?
Well, I mean, I'm okay with it. I have a feeling that this offense, they don't want to see the punter again.
And frankly, the punter doesn't want to run out there anymore himself. He would love to see his offense put together a drive and give his leg a rest.
Out on the edge, you love to have cornerbacks like that can bring him down in the run game.
And you're also exposed to everyone. It really becomes a one-on-one play, doesn't it? You're out there by yourself on the edge. The best ones know how to make the play, and we just saw an example of it right there.
And he slips up past the 45 before being tackled. 13 yards to pick up there. Good for a Cleveland first. 3 quarters have come and gone. You are watching the NFL on EA Sports. Welcome back now here in London. It's the Browns with a deficit. They're trailing, but with the football here to start the 4th. Flacco. And that one going to be off target and incomplete.
They lead big, and a major part of that has been how they've taken their play to a whole new level this second half. No points allowed since the break, and you can add another incompletion to the total number that they forced in this runaway contest.
An incomplete pass on first down. That leads to a 2nd and 10. Flacco. Got a man, and he hits him in stride. And this is going to turn into another first down as the tackle is made at the Vikings' 29-yard line. The catch and run, good for 24 yards. A 3-score game here late. You can probably rule out the comeback, but certainly some kind of a moral victory to be had if they can get a few more points to close things out. And to that end, a nice pass play there to push things downfield.
Yeah, and we know in this league, a loss is a loss, and no one wants anything to count as a moral victory or, boy, something that feels a little bit cheap. But if they trim that lead down to just 2 scores, that's still a benefit to this squad. That play wasn't quite as big as the play that preceded it, but still, gotta like the way they're moving the football, partner.
Absolutely. Pretty good room to run on that last play.
Yeah, they didn't get a first down, but still, you'll take runs like that each and every time, won't you?
And they'll keep leaning on the running game. Back to the ground. He is taken down at the 21 after a short gain of 2.
Not too many offenses want to turn down long drives, but when you're down what they are, they've got to pay it off with some points.
The Browns on 3rd down. They've converted a third of their opportunities, 3 for 9. This time they face a 3rd and 2.
And here's a handoff out of the gun.
And he will have the first down across the 20 to the 19-yard line. Give him 3 yards and a fresh set of downs.
A lot depended on the spot there, and he got it, but it wasn't by much, was it? I remember Coach Madden talking about, depending on which foot the official used, that would tell you whether you had the first down or not. You want that upfield foot to be the one that spots the ball, don't you?
And you and I have the luxury of a couple extra views here in the booth, and he did get it, but not by much.
Yeah, the Browns are going to be set up with a 1st and goal. It's a nice run there. Gets them down to the 6-yard line.
Defensively, with this lead in the 4th quarter, I guess you can allow a run of that magnitude.
You're right about that, but really the focus has got to be, don't fall in love with the idea that you're getting big runs now. You're right. They're actually being allowed. They've got to think really hard about getting some chunk plays through the air, too.
They'll try and run for it on 1st and goal. He gets him a little bit closer. He takes it from the 6 inside the 5 to the 4.
All of a sudden, those lanes that were there earlier in the drive dry up near the goal line. That's a good job defensively to diagnose the run and stop it for a very short pickup.
2 of their 3 red zone trips so far they've come up empty on. They'll look to reverse that trend on 2nd and goal. And this is caught. Touchdown, Cleveland. Jerry Jeudy from 4 yards out. And the Browns have got it back to a 2-score game here in the 4th. So a little bit of a letdown there defensively. I mean, look, you're still 2 scores to the good, CD, but things may be a little more uncomfortable than they had hoped.
Yeah, if you'd kept them out of the end zone there, this game's over. You've locked the door on them. Instead, it's still open a little bit, and they've got a puncher's chance.
Hopkins with the extra point, and the lead down to 10, 24-14. Following the touchdown, Dustin Hopkins will kick it away. And a good return as he'll be stopped just shy of the 30-yard line. Now the Vikings offense gets set to take over here. Now there are 2 scores on the plus side. Still time here in this 4th quarter, but maybe you start thinking about playing keep away.
You're not thinking touchdowns anymore. You're just thinking first down, playing keep away. First downs, they can't touch the ball.
43 yards rushing for him now to this point.
Good push from the offensive line, and they've done well so far to build this lead. Now they've got to get things to the finish line, and that's a solid pickup there to begin the drive.
And from the 34, here's 2nd and 4.
Again, it's Jones. And he is going to be stopped cold behind the line of scrimmage. It'll be a loss of a couple on the play, so now 3rd down coming up. This defense starting to buckle down when they need to, and right now they're winning this 4th quarter, losing the game, but they're winning in the 4th quarter.
And what a fine line it is about what they're trying to get done, because they're down, so they obviously need the football, need a score, but they can't be so aggressive as to give up their edge, their gaps, and have the offense hit them with a big play.
He had a man open, but he missed him, and it's incomplete.
Critical play in this football game, because if they pick up the first there, that clock keeps rolling.
Has to be a little frustrating for them, because they know that if they pick up a first down there and continue to eat away at the clock, really increases their chances of closing this one out. Now they're likely going to have to give the football up and sweat it out on the sideline.
So they're forced to punt on 4th as this one's away. So a change of possession here on the punt. And out will come the offense as they take over.
The Browns set and ready to go on offense. Their defense was able to force the punt. That's the good news. But this is still a 2-score game, and they need points on this drive and in a relatively quick manner.
They'll start on the ground here on 1st down. And he is met in his tracks behind the line of scrimmage. He'll lose a yard there, and it's 2nd and 11.
Well, that's pretty symptomatic about how things have gone here. That play was just shut down right from the start.
And not going to give him a lot of confidence to help turn things around. A loss of a yard there to start out. That leads to a 2nd and 11. Now it's Flacco. And he's got his man in stride, complete. And he'll get this one way up just shy of the 45-yard line. Last play, they got stuffed at the line. Different story here, over 20 yards.
All right, this is the time of the game where they're down a couple of scores, and they've really got to get some yards in chunks, and they know the defense doesn't want to give those up, but they've got to find a way to take them anyway.
Now the question is, can they string a few of those together? Now Flacco. And the throw left sideline here is caught, but they'll rule it incomplete. Couldn't keep his feet in. 2nd down.
I think he could have scanned downfield forever, but there wasn't anything available. Ends up throwing an incompletion, and I think he'll take that.
So now 2nd and 10 after the incompletion on 1st down. Here's Flacco.
This ball tipped, and it's going to be incomplete. Fortunate maybe to get that back. It's 3rd down.
So much of this game is about leverage. We always talk about low man wins in the trenches. Well, it's like that in just about every position. And sometimes, if you lose that leverage and you're losing the battle, just jump up at the line of scrimmage and try and bat the ball away. And that's exactly what happened there.
They fake the handoff. Now Flacco to pass. He'll let this go for the end zone. That's going to be knocked away and incomplete.
And they're at the point of the ball game now where they've got to take some chances. They've got to put the ball in the air and just see what happens. But this defense knows that all too well.
The Browns send out their punter now as he'll come on to kick this one away. Yeah, he was looking for the checkup bounce, didn't get it. That scoots all the way into the end zone now for a touchback.
Minnesota's offense takes over possession. They've got a chance now to put this game away following that last defensive stop and punt.
Moore, the man in motion.
And they're going to give it to him on the jet sweep.
And he's brought down at the 24 after a gain of 4.
Well, they gave up a few yards there, but all in all, I think that's a pretty nice job defensively against the jet sweep. If they don't slow him up, he might take it to the house, so they'll take that play every time on the defensive side of the ball.
They'll come up 2nd and 6 now from the 24. Out of the gun, they'll look to throw.
He's got the connection to Moore.
And they're able to get this one across the 35. He's up to 87 yards receiving now, and it's a first down.
Well, normally you might say start running the football. You've got the lead here in the fourth quarter, but the way that they've passed it with such success, I don't know, maybe keep throwing it.
Yeah, I think you brought up something that goes against conventional wisdom, right? In this stage of the game, you would think you would switch to a running attack, but you're exactly right. They've thrown it so well throughout the game, and trusting this quarterback, I think you continue to do so.
Give him 3 on first down. It'll set up a 2nd and 7. He was close to flirting with that sideline, but able to stay in bounds like you know his coach wants him to do and keep that clock moving.
Isn't it funny that we're watching this play when we had that discussion just yesterday about this? What do you do in this scenario? What do you know, what's your mindset? It appeared to me that he'd totally forgotten that he needed to stay in bounds, and then in the last second, oh no, I better get down. And he ended up doing the right thing. But at that point, maybe close to letting it slip away.
Here's 3rd and 3.
Looking to throw. McCarthy. Oh, he's going to let this go for the end zone.
And this one dropped in the end zone. Looked like a touchdown, but not to be. And now it's 4th down.
That's some good closing speed there defensively because that looked open for a minute. But that's great work with the ball in the air. Never gave up, converged on his man, and broke the play up.
On 4th down, the punt team is on as this is sent away. A 40-yard punt, 5 yards on the return. Heading out as the Cleveland offense now as they get set to take over here.
The last series for him, a little disappointing, forced to punt. And now they'll try to do better here and come away with some points as they begin this drive, 1st and 10.
Passing play, Flacco.
Gets this over the middle to Tillman.
And he's upended after a gain of 4 up to the 25-yard line. One thing I think that's safe to say defensively, the tackling's been really good.
And because of that, it's been very, very hard for them to move the ball because you're not getting the benefits of run after catch. They're tackling them almost on the spot. That means you have to run extra plays, harder to move it.
Flacco from the gun.
And that went too far in front. He couldn't reel it in. It's incomplete.
You put just a little bit too much heat on that one. When you throw it to the outside, you do have to be careful because you got to keep it away from the defender, but you also have to give your own guy a chance too.
So after the 2nd down incompletion, they'll come up now against a 3rd and 6. Now Flacco.
Oh, he had him. He was open, but he couldn't get it to him. It's incomplete.
timing was just a bit off, and that can happen occasionally, even with these fine professionals in the NFL.
But on those out routes, that requires precision, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. Everyone has to be in sync from the time the quarterback hits his back foot and delivers the ball to the receiver turning to find it.
Here we go. 4th down, 4th quarter. Flacco. And it's incomplete. They cannot convert, and they turn it over. The Browns unable to move the chains on 4th down. And the Vikings, they have the football now in excellent field position. A give to Jones.
Oh, and fine work there as he gets this thing down to the 11-yard line. 58 yards rushing for him now as he's toted it 21 times.
Well, it is our business to analyze what we saw out there, and on that play, I saw a defense staying in base, not taking a chance, not blitzing in a situation when they absolutely need the football back. That's either a case of overthinking it or not thinking it through.
If you do blitz, do you have to be careful about where you're coming from, or are you just coming from all angles?
You have to be careful about where you're coming from, obviously, but at this stage, you have to take a few chances as well.
Ronnie Hickman burying him short of the sticks for a loss there.
Well, partner, I guess sometimes it's just a matter of philosophy. Some say run it until they absolutely stop you, and others say, well, when you think they're about to stop you, fool them a little bit. I guess they should have tried to fool them on that play.
And now a fake on the jet sweep and a give to Jones.
Now he's taken down at the 7 after a gain of 7.
But you got to give kudos to your offensive line and the guy carrying the ball because they were in a 2nd and long situation. It seemed pretty dire, but they brought it back to 3rd and manageable with that run.
Here's 3rd and 6. McCarthy operating from the gun.
He didn't get the touchdown, but he did get the 1st down as he's tackled at the 1. Maybe not exactly what they had in mind, but that scramble good for 6 and a 1st down.
Jones. He is going nowhere in a hurry as he is going to lose yardage here in a big way.
And now we'll see a timeout used on defense as they stop it right out of the break with 1:57 to go in the ball game. So they're backed up to the 3-yard line, 2nd and goal. They'll try again with Jones. Now the Browns signal for the 2nd of their timeouts. That'll leave them with just 1 remaining in this 4th quarter of play. And now can they reverse the trend on 3rd and goal with the last 2 plays having gone backwards? Back to throw. McCarthy. And he'll get into the end zone. Touchdown, Minnesota.
T.J. Hockenson.
A beast in the red zone with his 2nd touchdown of the game.
And the Vikings are an extra point away from making this a 3-score game.
No going for 2. They'll kick the point after. And that'll make this a 3-score game as the lead moves to 17. Minnesota's kick team ready, and the Vikings boom it away.
And it's a pretty good return here as he'll get this up to the 29.
And now the Browns coming out on the field.
Well, probably not much that they can do at this point, CD. Down 3 scores late in the fourth quarter. This is going to be a little too much to overcome, you would think.
Yeah, they'll go down swinging, but in the end, I think we saw the writing on the wall a while back because one team was clearly better than the other in this one. And while it didn't quite reach blowout status, I think we knew who was going to win this one well before we got to this stage.
And able to get this one across the 45 before he's brought down. An excellent way to start the drive there, 18 yards.
Well, those are the types of plays they probably wish they had made more of in the first 3 quarters. And this deficit going to be tough to overcome here in the fourth. But a nice first down and a pickup on that throw.
Yeah, and this is where as coaches, you're looking for effort and execution, even though the scoreboard is going.
Oh, he rifles one, and that's going to be intercepted.
Picked off by Byron Murphy. And he's able to get it back here to the 43-yard line. The D can only stop it one more time as they take the knee. Out of the shotgun, it's Jones. 4 yards on the pickup there as they get it back to a more manageable 3rd and 7. Charles, why didn't they just take the knee there?
You're asking the question that I'm asking as well, because we've seen a lot of football where coaches decide maybe they get a little greedy. I don't know if they're doing it for stats or for what reason. We've seen it happen in college. And how about in the NFL? The miracle of the Meadowlands. All they had to do was take a knee and the game was over. The Giants ran it one more time. Ball popped free. Philadelphia picks it up and wins the game.
What year was that?
1978. I think it was in November.
Well, this was a very close ball game at halftime, Charles, but in the second half, that offense kind of kicked things into another gear, and they were able to pull away for the victory.
And, Brandon, I think they're the type of team that just looked in the mirror and said, hey, ton of pressure on, but we're the type of team that can flat out handle it. They stood up with confidence, and made it happen for a victory.
So that's a wrap for Charles Davis. I'm Brandon Gaudin. And this has been a presentation of the NFL on EA Sports. For more, check us out at easports.com. With that, we say cheerio from London.